And another plug for Malvern Books, please make sure, make sure to get on their email list. They send out a weekly update of all kinds of different literary events. This bookstore is, there used to be tons of bookstores like this, around the country as well as in Austin. And this is the only one like this. And so I encourage you to come here, and you may feel like, well, I don't really know anything about poetry. I bet the people that work here can steer you in the right direction. And I know for sure that at times like this, with the political situation the way it is in our country, a number of issues that are so disturbing and difficult, poetry is one of the things that makes a difference. So I encourage you to find some poetry that is the right balm for you in these days. I'm going to read from, and also thank you to Lauren for letting me join her on her occasion. I'm just going to read 4 poems from a chapbook of my own that's going to come out in a month or so as a way to sort of warm you guys up to the idea of poetry. One of the things I love about poetry is it quiets everything down. And so feel free to shut your eyes and just enjoy the quiet. This first poem is called Live a Great Story. Up early to walk the lake before work, by the car, I find pressed against the curb a raccoon. Looking like trash in the dawn light, she pushes with her small black hands to stand, but can't, dragging her ring tail. I wake my husband, who stumbles out shirtless, says she's toast, calls 311, sits on the curb so the neighbor's dogs won't disturb her dying. By the Emerald Lake downtown, ruthless summer gone. Cypress trees feather green and gold. Tree roots tangle concrete. I hug my bare arms. Live a great story, commands the bridge high above the water. How did it get there? On the flat rock, where runners lean to stretch, there are 5 sets of car keys and a baby toy, the kind that can be chewed or crumpled. I'd be lying if I said I knew who will tell the story and who listen, who, sitting nearby on the curb, will call it. And that poem is going to come out in the Texas Observer in the next few months. Next, if you're here, you probably either are a poet or you know a poet, but in case you don't have enough poetry in your life, these are instructions on how to grow a poet. Again, something I feel is very useful in these days, so listen carefully. Buy plants, chosen for their names: Cherokee purple, summer girl, crushed heart, golden beauty. Or you could allow that wedge of aged cheddar to waste in the back of the fridge until it's a blue nub, the hue of your grandmother's scratchy sofa, where you used to peruse her nurse magazines, photos of weeping sores and perfectly laced incisions. Or you might whisk up some eggs with milk, flour, and that cheese, if it hasn't gone bad. Inflate a souffle. Serve quickly to your naked lover. It's not hard to grow one, unless you want to get rich. Just mix equal parts ordinary heartbreak, inherited ennui, and a certain softness for tea, the sea, and rhyme. It does take time to grow a fine one, and even then, no one may notice. So maybe a nice tattoo is a wiser choice. This next poem is references the monkey god Hanuman, who's a Hindu deity, and there are stories of he's a god, he's a monkey face and a monkey tail, but he's kind of human at the same time, and he's a deity, so he can do like anything. Yet he kind of is, part of the story is that he is it's kind of his Achilles heel, is that he forgets how wonderful he is, and he forgets his power and his strength. There is a poem, a song of 40 lines or 40 couplets that list out 40 really amazing attributes of this deity to remind him of how great he is. And so that's referenced in this poem. It's called Confidence. Flaubert kept a small Buddha on his desk, a companion when the mot juste failed him. The monkey god Hanuman sits on mine, whose punishment was to forget just how uniquely brilliant and brave he was. A boy I liked once dedicated Ornette Coleman's Lonely Woman to me on the radio. Then we slept together. Now, he's a Buddhist monk in Mongolia. It's easy to forget who you are. Heading home, I get a pay-by-the-minute massage at the airport. Women carry the weight of the world on their shoulders, she says, working her elbow into the hollow place I've been carrying it. For 10 centuries, people have sung out a long list of the monkey's attributes. Your golden hair shines like the summer sun. With your graceful stride, you can leap islands. Even your imperfections are divine. And finally, as some of you may know, the Texas Observer is a wonderful, always was monthly, I think it's just gone quarterly, very left-wing liberal magazine covering our state and all of its wonderful opportunities to explore the truth. And they also publish poetry, and so I mentioned that first poem, Live a Great Life, is going to be in the Texas Observer. Naomi Shihab Nye, who lives in San Antonio, a wonderful poet, is the editor, the poetry editor there. And so when she accepted the poem, she happened to be in Hawaii at that time, and she mentioned in an email to me that the waves were endlessly pounding beneath her window, and that she thought that staying in Hawaii would change her. And I got this email, and I usually write early in the morning. My husband built me a little bitty writing house that's like 10 foot by 10 foot in the backyard, so nobody can bother me. And so I wrote this poem in response to that email, and sent it to her. It's called Metamorphosis. Let the world change you. Let the waves endlessly howl under your window. Let it smooth you down to weightless driftwood, sea glass. Let it wash you roughly, break you into sharp, stinging edges, push you out, draw you in endlessly. Let it cast you past all hope into pitiful darkness, then surprise you with sunrise on a styrofoam island. Let the world join you, afloat, alone, as the company of slick dolphins who seem to know you. Let it follow you from afar, curious, cautious world. Look over there. Look at it, making love with itself, churning the juicy blue stew. You knew this might happen, this meteor, this broken bone called your life. Wake up before the alarm. Lie there, listening in the dark for the world's first whisper. Get up. Feed it. Thank you.